You need money because they've programmed and systemized things to the point where money is just the in-between. But once you get money, it does not mean that you have power. It just means that you can just be real comfortable. But it's a step to being able to free yourself from any type of financial constrictions that man has systemized and created into this world of existence in order to control you. So it's a step to not being financially controlled. But even with that, the way that they got so crafty with that, they put a cap on that too. Limitations on that too. Even with people that's in the entertainment business, y'all, they put caps and limitations on them, and they don't mind giving them whatever they say that they give them in regards to money, because they know that they're going to turn around and lose it anyway. They're not going to sustain it. A lot of them don't create real wealth. A lot of them squander it. A lot of them smoke it up. A lot of them don't create real wealth. A lot of them swindle that money. A lot of that money does not become anything. They don't create no real legacy with the money. So don't be fooled by what you see in the entertainment industry. And it's so crazy is that it even spilled into the religious cultures as well. And that's also being exposed as well. How deep that go. How deep the religious aspect of things play in the shadows as well. That's why the God that you're searching for, you won't find it in no book, y'all. The God that you're searching for, you won't find it in no book. No matter the books that you read, you won't find it in no groups of people. It doesn't matter the religious aspect of it, the spiritual aspect of it. It does not matter. You will not find God there. You will not find God in money. You find God in self. You find freedom in self. Real freedom. True freedom. You find peace in self. You find harmony in self. You find worship in self. You find love in self. You find joy in self. You find happiness in self. You find fulfillment in self. You find home in self. And once you come into this knowing of self, everything else is no longer a blockage, no longer a limitation to what you can create in your manifold. Meaning that worshiping Elohim is actually worshiping yourself. Because when you truly worship yourself, and I don't mean in no Luciferian way, but I'm talking about like truly worship yourself by being aware and conscious of what you expose yourself to. Whether it be in a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual state of being. When you are very meticulous and very calculating, very strategic, very consciously aware of what you expose yourself to, what you allow to have access to you, and the amount of it that you allow for you to be exposed to will show Elohim how much you love Elohim. Because it's all the energy. Respecting your energy is respecting Elohim. Elohim lives through the spirit of light. Step into the light. Step into self. Step into a light enlightenment of self. A light enlightenment of being aware of self. Mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And once you begin to do that, is when you find a greater sense of wholeness. And you don't find it in no religious aspect, no religious groups. It don't matter how many of them you join, no matter how many churches you join, no matter how many times you go to the church with the people in the pews and you praising and you worshiping the Lord. You do it for self. And when you do it for self and you do it in order to be better, to see better, to create better, to fulfill better, so you can be a better person, so you can show up as a better person, whatever way and manner that may be. When you honor your energy, when you honor yourself, when there is an improvement in self, when there is an improvement in what you do and what you see and what you create, and that is demonstrated in your actions, that energetic frequency, it vibrates universally, to the point that you draw in that same frequency, that same frequency. So you start to see everything in the manifold, and the manifestations around you begin to it just thrives, it just takes off. You see things differently then. Things just different. It's just different. And when you know self, it's nothing. When you know self, it's nothing that no one can say or do that will keep you from being who you were meant to be, and to allow for you to be vulnerable enough to make mistakes, be vulnerable enough to not have it all together, to be vulnerable enough to just go through the journey of life and take everything a step at a time. And once you give yourself that room to grow, to develop, but you're actually still making steps of improvement to just be a better person all around to yourself, you'll be a better person to the other people that's around you. And while that is hard for people to do, it's because it's hard for them to deal with themselves. And once you get to a place where it's hard for you to deal with you, that's some deep-rooted shit. That's dysfunctional. And you can't call nobody else weird for you being weird with yourself, because you don't love yourself and you don't see your dysfunctional ways to the point where you can't be an upstanding individual to call your own self out on your own shit and know that you're dysfunctional, and know that you got some things that you need to work on, some things that you need to improve on. And until you can confront the shadows of yourself, you will never be able to master self. You will always be programmed in some type of controlled environment. It don't matter what type of environment you in. No matter what type of environment you in. A lot of people will be like, you'll have people say real stupid stuff out their mouth like, oh yeah, cause you ain't about to control me. You ain't about to do this. You ain't about to do that. You ain't and they call themselves being free. And they call themselves doing what they please, when they want to, how they want to. And a lot of them fall victim to some type of controlled substance. And that's a spirit within itself too. Like, that's a spirit within itself too. Like, something controlling you. Because it's controlling your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual state of being. You need to smoke bud, it's controlling something. Most of the time it has to do with the mental and the emotional aspect of you not wanting to deal with the shit that you need to deal with. or confront what you need to confront, and that's fine. But be 100% truthful in what exists and what's there. You see what I'm saying? Because if you keep on acting like you don't know, or you're not aware of why certain things is the way it is, or why you are why you are the way you are, and why you have these certain patterns, you will never be able to control shit. Like, you gotta know things. We all have certain patterns and certain triggers and certain things that we have created for ourselves that has us existing within these structures and these systems, and most of the time you're being controlled. You're being controlled by something or someone. And Elohim wants to set people free from themselves. So this is what this is about, the 144,000, saving a remnant. Saving a remnant from self. But allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to go through certain stages and certain phases of life and experience what you need to experience on a soul level so you can grow, so you can develop. Because it has some type of meaning to what you experience, to what you need to experience in order to fulfill what needs to be fulfilled. But if you get stuck and never overcome, you'll never reach your full potential. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. So I'm gonna read it again. Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. My goodness and my fortress, my high tower and my deliverer, my shield and he in whom I trust, who subdueth my people under me. Lord, what is man that thou takest knowledge of him, or the son of man that thou makest account of him? Man is like to vanity, his days are as a shadow that passeth away. Bow thou heavens, O Lord, and come down. Touch the mountains, and they shall smoke. Cast forth lightning and scatter them. Shoot out thine arrows and destroy them. Send thine hand from above. Rid me and deliver me out of great waters, from the hand of strange children. Strange children. And what David is talking about when he says strange children, he means that children that have estranged themselves away from their creator. From their creator and their co-creator. Creator being Elohim, co-creator being Mother Gaia. Estranged children that forget their roots, forget who they are, forget their creator, forget Mother Gaia in a sense of their roots, of nature, true nature, natural instincts. People that's supposed to have certain natural instincts in place that has been systematically broken to the point that they don't even know how to be genuine, how to be natural with certain energetic exchanges, to the point that they find you weird. But when in actuality, they're the weird one. They're weird because they are disconnected from their creator and from their co-creator, meaning Mother Gaia, meaning nature, meaning their roots. So they're estranged. They have no connection to self. So So this is what David is referring to when he say this. Send thy hand from above, rid me and deliver me out of the great waters, and from the hand of strange children. Children that forgot their father, children that forgot their roots, children that forgot who they are, whose mouth speaketh vanity. Talking about surface level stuff that don't matter. And their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. I will sing a new song unto thee, O Elohim, upon a psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings will I sing praises unto thee. It is he that giveth salvation unto kings, who delivereth David his servant from the hurtful sword. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. That our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones, polished after the similitude of a palace, that our garners may be full, affording all manner of store, that our sheep may bring forth thousands and 10,000s of our streets, that our oxen may be strong to labor, that there be no breaking in, nor going out, that there be no complaining in our streets. Happy is that people that is in such a case. Yeah, happy is that people whose Elohim is the Lord. So, wrapping this all up, so wrapping this all up is basically trying to get people back to a place of being connected to the Father. It's impossible for you to come back into connection with the Father without you first coming back into connection with self. You have to be connected to self in order to be connected to Elohim. The further away you get from self, the further away you get from Elohim. The harder it is to hear Elohim. The harder it is for you to discern and to understand things on a deeper level of consciousness of self, mind, body, and spirit. People to take off the blinders and stop looking at status, stop looking at what a person has, and look at the spirit of a person. Look at their spirit. How happy are they with themselves? No matter how much money a person has, what's the point of having money if you're not even happy with yourself? Because you're not going to do nothing but squander the money away because you're not happy with yourself. You're not happy with yourself. So you already going to be on a road to self-sabotaging ways, whether you want to or not, because you're not happy with yourself, because you feel disconnected from your Creator and from your co-creator. They gotta be either or. Disconnected from your Creator, or you disconnected from your co-creator. It's possible for you to be connected. There's a lot of people, I'm gonna give y'all 2 examples. There's a lot of people that's connected to the Creator, but disconnected from their co-creator. Meaning that a lot of people that y'all find like in these religious groups, these religious cultures, in these church environments, a lot of these people are connected to the Creator, They're disconnected from their co-creator, meaning Mother Gaia. They're disconnected from their roots. They're disconnected from nature. And that's why you can have somebody that has a connection with Elohim, but fails to connect with people, fails to connect with their kin. Kin meaning another son of man like yourself. You can have people that's really fucking nasty there. I'ma just dumb it down for a lot of people. You can have a lot of people that's really fucking nasty in the church. And their spirit can be very contrite because they're so disconnected from Mother Gaia and from the instincts of that caring nature, right? That caring nature, that mother instinct, that it doesn't matter whether male or female, you're supposed to have it. That feminine aspect of self, just like that caring nature about yourself, where you care for others. That's why they have this saying, I think it's in James, treat thy neighbors as you treat yourself. Like treat thy neighbors as you treat thyself. Treat thy neighbors as you treat thyself. Treat thy neighbors as you treat thyself. You can have a lot of people that's so nasty or so judgmental, and it's because they're disconnected from their co-creator. Connected to the creator, but disconnected from the co-creator. Meaning they still have a master. So there's a lot of untapped knowledge that they are limiting their self-access to, because they're allowing for themselves to be programmed by a leader in their church that most likely has access to this knowledge that they're not giving them access to. So like, say, I'm just gonna break it down. Say in certain religions, like you got Christianity, you got you got Christianity, you got the Islamic cultures, Muslims, you got Buddhism, Hinduism, and then you got the spiritual aspect of things. That's in a whole different realm. But you can see they go against each other because you so you got those aspects, right? You got those different groups. You got those different groups of individuals that has gravitated towards a certain systematic belief. To a certain systematic belief of thought process in regards to the spiritual aspect of the nature of being, right? So they gravitate towards certain belief systems. Sometimes it has to do with just generations. A lot of people would follow a certain religious group based off of traditions and generations of family lineages who have already sworn in to certain ecosystems of beliefs, right? Because that's all the religious. That's all religions are. It's just a belief. It's just a systematic belief system that sets a program in place for people to continue to thrive and continue to believe in this ideal that has been created around whatever objective is in place in order to keep people programmed to keeping and holding this aspect of truth that's in place, right? And depending on a person's nature, depending on who they are as a person, depending on their ID, will determine how passionate and intense they may be in regards to this topic or interest of study or ideal, right? People will kill over ideals, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. People will kill over ideals, right? And it's based on this system of programming. And depending on how hardwired a person may be, they gravitate towards these different religious groups, right? In a religious aspect, meaning they're connected to the Creator in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's a level of truth that exists within this religious aspect. There's always a level of truth to it. But the objective around it, the ideal around it, may make it very Luciferian, meaning that it's idolized and idealized that this is the only aspect of truth that exists, and that's untrue. That's untrue, and that is very limiting to a person's growth and development, because when you limit yourself to think that this is the only level of truth that exists, you don't allow for the full expression of self to grow and to develop into becoming, into being who you need to be as a person, as a soul carrier, as a ascended master, a master of self. You're closing yourself off to mastering self by allowing for yourself to be programmed by another leader or another person who has access to the knowledge that they are not allowing for you to be privy to. So they can control you. So you are basically programming yourself to be controlled. And a lot of people that exist in these religious groups and aspects, they access this level of truth, and they become so passionate and so intensified in this ideal or this subject of interest to the point that they'll kill over it, because they want to guard this truth based off of what they've been taught and programmed to believe, not understanding that there are levels of truth. And just because that this truth that you have programmed yourself to believe has some truth to it, does not make it any more impossible or less truthful to the other 3, 4, 5 religions out there that have another level of truth. But they have separated these religious groups as an objective in order to control the ecosystem that thrives in whatever place it may be. It does not matter where it's at. It could be because of geographical locations. A lot of stuff be built off of resources, limitations in the land having to do with the access to certain resources, whether it be information, whether it be natural resources on the land, having to do with food, having to do with like your diet, and so much stuff. Like it is so many different aspects to it, where leaders have created this ideal and have centered this ideal as the origin of truth in order to be able to control that ecosystem, to sustain it, to control it in whatever aspect that may be. And when people have been programmed for so long to just believe that origin of truth just to be the only truth that ever exists, it's hard to tell them otherwise. It's hard hard for them to escape from believing something different. And people get pissed off with certain things because of unfair treatment. It be other aspects of certain things why people believe. Like, you gotta there was a era in life where you had a lot of people, a lot of melanated black people, that were starting to transition over into Islam, the study of Islam, and learn about the Quran and things like that. And that was because of this whole aspect surrounded around Jesus and this white man that they created and put out there, and have it structured around control, right? And programming. And these black melanated men, women across the nations wanted to free themselves from this level of programming, so they start studying the Quran, and it gives you access to another aspect of truth that was not privy to Christians, to Christianity, to the nature of Christianity and what it did. A lot of people don't know the history behind Christianity and the revolt and the revolution that went on with missionaries and what they did across the world in order to control people, how the Roman Empire used Christianity as a way to be able to take over large aspects of land in order to overcome the tribal forces that were in place during that time. So they was driving this big thing. Even though they was driving this big thing, they turned it into they started labeling stuff. That's why it's not good to put labels on things. It's not good to put labels on things. Elohim would never label anything. That's what's so crazy about this world and about how limiting people's mindsets are. They want to gravitate towards a label. They want to gravitate towards one thing. They want one thing to be it, but it's crazy because it's not one thing. It's all things that are in creation of what exists and what is and what isn't. And once you learn that, you'll free yourself from these structural ecosystems that exist, these hierarchical systems that exist. But it's so crazy, the existence of Christianity and the history behind Christianity. That's what's so sad. You find a lot of black people go to churches and they go and they praise the Lord and they worship the Lord, but the crazy thing is they don't even know where the religion of Christianity came from and how it actually was the devastation of a lot of their lineages and ancestors and people being killed behind the conversion of making people leave behind their tribal belief systems that were already in place in order to convert over to this new world order of everybody on the same page, everybody believe one thing, in order for the elitists to be able to have control over larger populations of people. Christianity was driven for an objective and a purpose to control the masses of people. Control the masses of people by programming them to believe a certain thing. And a lot of people who are very spiritual were easier to be controlled when they had the ideal or the belief system surrounded that Christianity was the one religion that was true, was chosen by Elohim. by the Most High God. Because if they are programmed to believe this passion, this intensity that they have is put into driving these factors and these objectives that have been put in place in order for the richer to be richer, in order for the richer to have more control over the people. And so they don't get out of control, so they can control the laws, they can control what they read, the literature, they can control all of this. It controls the mind. When you have control over the mind, you got control over the body. The body is not going to react or do something that the mind hasn't already given it permission to do. And some people not understanding this on a deeper soul level, understanding it spiritually, not understanding how fucking wicked this world is, and how wicked the elitist thought, and how wicked these spiritual forces and evil forces are, has limited themselves to one aspect of truth that has been watered down over eons and eons of time. And when you try to expose them to a greater truth, or when you try to challenge what they know by what they've been told or what they've been programmed to believe, they can't see anything outside of it. They don't want to. And a lot of them, because they would break or their whole entire reality would crumble. It would be such a big tower that they don't even know how to recover from it. And I'm trying to tell y'all this because of experience. When you program to believe something, it's very hard if you don't have the capacity or the strength in order to be able to work through a lot of the falsified information that's out there dealing with the false information that has been put in place for certain objectives to exist within these ecosystems for control over the masses of people. So the richer can get rich, and so they can keep control over the people, so they can continue to get rich. So they can continue to keep people distracted and not fight for what's right. And what's right is the truth.